to here with big stones and you cannot go left or right to overtake. It was just you had to keep cool today, and I think it was a waste of a day.
For your birthday it was not so funny.
It was terrible, really, really terrible. But anyway, that's the racing, and one position better than yesterday, but not good.
Amazing story today on the Dakar 2001 with a Swiss cyclist who left home 7 years ago. He's already completed 114,000 kilometers encompassing 58 countries.
Je fais le tour du monde à vélo là depuis 7 ans. Je viens de la Suisse et bon, j'ai traversé 58 pays là, j'ai pédalé 114 000 km à travers l'Europe, l'Asie, les Amériques et l'Afrique. Donc je vais terminer en mars sur ma route du retour sur Genève en Suisse. Voilà.
And then to Alaska, all the way down to Argentina. Finally took a plane to South Africa. Now in Morocco, he hopes to be home in 3 months' time, back in his hometown of Geneva. The cars were the rage today, with a glorious sounding V6 engine of Jean-Louis Schlesser barreling through the small villages to be fastest by the time he got to the end of the 305 kilometre stage as we approach the entrance essentially to the Sahara Desert. Jean-Louis actually changed the rear suspension in some way. He wouldn't let on what he did to his Schlesser buggy, but he changed his suspension overnight in order to get over this very, very rocky stage. Maybe he changed the track, he probably did, who knows. But if he changed the track, he probably drew it in so that the rear wheels were following in line with the fronts. Normally the fronts are a little narrower than the rear. Schlesser quickest from Serbia by 42 seconds. Third on the stage today, Jean-Pierre Fontenay in the Mitsubishi number 201. He had no punctures today, but drove reasonably quickly without taking any chances. He had Thierry Delaverne come past him about 30 kilometers before the end of the stage, but then he found Delaverne on the side of the road with a puncture. And of course, remember that the Mitsubishis are a little heavier than the Schlesser buggies, and he could see the two Schlesser buggies just pulling away into the distance, and there was just nothing that Jean-Pierre could do about it. He'll just have to wait until the dunes. Remember that the buggies are two-wheel drive, the Mitsubishis and the Nissans, etc., four-wheel drive. Stunning scenery as always as we follow the Oued Dra on a very rapid and stony stage before reaching the bivouac in Guillemine, one of the towns labelled as the doors to the desert, which are strung across South Morocco. And in the past, the bivouac where the crews finished this evening, a very important camel caravan rendezvous before they enter the desert. Fourth position today, the Mitsubishi of Hiroshi Mashioka. He punctured once in the middle of the stage, but given the fact that he only finished 40 seconds back of Jean-Pierre Fontenay, who didn't have a puncture, Mashioka was pretty pleased with that. Thierry Delaverne in his Nissan. He said he had a slow puncture, but the co-driver says 200 meters to the dip. And through the dip he goes. He continues to say, if we get to the end of the stage at this speed, it'll be good. But it is a very stony stage, and it's hard to keep a good rhythm. The co-driver interjects 500 meters and there's another dip. we leave the onboard action from the Frenchman's Nissan. He did have a slow puncture, but he managed to drive pretty well with the Mitsubishis all day, and he was happy to keep on a pace with the Mitsubishis, which as a rule are a little quicker than the Nissan. Souza was 6th behind Thierry de la Verne on the stage. Germany's Jutta Kleinschmidt here in her Mitsubishi. I cannot look at the landscape, she says, but there are some good views out there. What can you see is the question from the helicopter. At that point, the co-driver interjects, listen, we've got a double caution coming up. And Jutta answers back, I'm sorry, I can't answer the question. I really have got to concentrate very hard at the moment. She didn't have any punctures though. Kleinschmidt 7th. Bruno Sabi from France in his two-wheel drive Ford. He was 8th fastest. Grégoire de Mavius, you can hear the knocking coming from his Nissan. He had a problem with the front diff. He maybe thought that the diff was not mounted properly. There's a lot of noise at slow speed. The faster that the Belgian went, the less noise that came from that front diff, but of course he didn't know what the problem was whilst he was on the stage. Not a good day for Luc Alphon, the former downhill ski racer in his buggy. He had a gearbox problem 35 kilometers into the stage that saw him come to a halt.
Là, ça fait combien de temps que vous êtes là?
How long have you been here?
Oula, compte plus, mais bon, 45 minutes, 3 quarts d'heure.
About 45 minutes.
Ah, mais là, maintenant, il faut être philosophe.
You have to be philosophical about it, though.
Déjà, on est au Maroc, on n'est pas perdu.
I will wait for the mechanics, but
on a un camion de course derrière qui a une boîte.
we're not lost here. We're in Morocco. In Mauritania, it might be a little harder. Alphon running with a semi-automatic, Schlesser in the two-wheel drive buggy running with a H-pattern 5-speed box. So no similarities between the three teammates there. Magnali, first position today for him in T1 class, whilst Stefan Pederhansel was second in T1, 21st overall. Magnaldi only 19th overall on the stage. The pair of them split by a mere minute and a half on the stage of just over 4 hours. Pierre Lartigue here, speaking with us. Says there are many rocks on the road. But the good thing is that the car is good. And there's a truck in front of us. However, the view really is quite stunning if we have a chance to look out. Be careful, says the co-driver. Be careful with the small trees just on the edge of the road. Small saplings that some of them may have died, and softwood has almost fossilized itself. Serbia won yesterday on the stage. Schlesser wins today. The pair of them split by 42 seconds. Fontenay, the leading Mitsubishi, 8.5 back. Mashioka and Thierry de la Verne in the top 5 on behalf of Nissan. Schlesser leads overall from his teammate Serbia. Jean-Pierre Fontenay, Thierry de la Verne, 4th in his Nissan, and Hiroshi Mashioka.
It
was very rocky and stony at the beginning, but later it was faster with some big bumps. I couldn't really do anything too much. De la Verne overtook me, and I tried to then maintain a good rhythm, but the important thing today was to get through it without any punctures. We did some jumps that were very high.
Time of puncture also. So our car is very good for suspension. Every jumping spot is every time is flat, so very easy to accelerate. So I like this Pajero.
Okay, thank you.
In the truck section on our 305 kilometre stage today on the Dakar, a victory for Chagin in his Kamaz number 424. These trucks really are monsters of the desert if you look at camels as ships of the desert. They are quite amazing. The engineering involved, well, it may be agricultural, but it doesn't break. The Hino of Sugawara was 6th today, losing 21 minutes to Chagin. And the one vehicle that the competitors do not want to get stuck behind is a truck. The maximum amount of dust being thrown up in their faces. 3 crew on board, of course. And all of that weight. Leading overall, therefore, is Chagin from Kabirov and Brazil's de Azevedo. Tomorrow sees the last stage in Morocco before the huge stretches of desert, where we will discover from Smara on the desert. The first 100 kilometers tomorrow sees the track get progressively faster and then quite rocky and tricky later on.